and we're live already. Fantastic. So welcome everyone to day 2 of the International Yoga Teachers Summit. And this morning or today, depending on where in the world you are right now, we're live with Gabi. And Gabi is a dear friend of mine. We've been working together closely for the last few months. And she's going to share with you how to optimize your Instagram profile or your Instagram strategies to stand out from the crowd and actually attract people into your business. So for those that are not familiar with your work, Gabi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you for having me, Annie. So I am an Instagram strategist. I am a yoga teacher and I'm a copywriter. So I have got all the marketing stuff behind me, and I help yoga teachers build their brands on Instagram and sell their services on Instagram. So that is really, social media is like the handshake of everything to kind of get people to know you, like the little cocktail parties. So I help make your cocktail parties a little bit more fun and exciting.
I love that metaphor. That's amazing. I never thought of it that way. Yeah. And it's true, like this handshake that we have on Instagram, it's so important because it's like the first thing people see of you and what you could possibly mean for them and how they could possibly benefit from your services. Why is Instagram so useful for this in terms of like gaining visibility and maybe differences that it has with Facebook or TikTok?
It's such a good question because, you know, I think at the end of the day, like we have to, if we're going to be online, and if we want to reach students, we have to be visible. We have to choose a platform that speaks to us, that we're comfortable with. And we've got to be on a platform where our students are. So for me, I've seen a lot of value in terms of Instagram because that is where a lot of people are. That is where a lot of people are still consuming information, especially with Reels skyrocketing and trying to take on TikTok in a way.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, at the end of it, like my big thing is that you can really choose any platform you want, because I think building an online community is an online community, but you just have to be where your community is. And if you think that you can monetize where your community is, then more power to you. So that's why, but Instagram is just one of those places that is really like, they're not going anywhere and they are just trying to edge it out and make it better as they go.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. When I first started Enga Unite, I focused mainly on Facebook because of the groups, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to have people meet each other as well. But as we grow, I definitely see that Instagram is gaining way more popularity. And like you said, the Reels are so popular and such an easy way to actually get your things seen by other people. So I think that this.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Annie, this dog's about to go crazy. I'm kicking her out.
All right.
This is probably the first interview that's happened.
I see that Sarah is here. Good morning, lovely. In the Facebook group as well, let us know that you're watching.
Yes, sorry, we've got this chaotic dog. Husband's supposed to be sorting that out, but anyway, right, you have my undivided attention now. I'm back with Reels. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. I think that this training, the things that you're going to take us through today is going to be super useful, very insightful. Are you going to mention, just for those that are not so familiar with Instagram, what types of posts there are, just to make sure that everyone knows what we're going to speak about?
Yeah, well, we can actually dive into that a little bit now. So really the type of posts that Instagram, well, like, I mean, I guess if we're going to talk about like the big 3 in terms of content and building online communities, and that Facebook, I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar, especially if you're here in the Facebook group watching. You understand the concept of Facebook and the value of groups. TikTok is, I personally have not been brave enough to hop onto TikTok, but that is all about short form video content. and it is really a story about quantity over quality there. And then Instagram is a mix. So again, it is a big focus on short form video content, which is reels. And reels are really dominating in terms of the type of content that you should be creating. But Instagram is also and will inherently always be a photo sharing app. That is its heritage. And that is something that Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram, speaks about quite a lot. So it is a mix. It is a place for you to show up and for people to really build that connection with you through video. But at the same time, there is still value in sharing, you know, your photos, your carousel type of posts, which are more your static posts. But yeah, so it's a bit more of a mixed media platform.
Exactly. And for those that have been using the platform for a while, we also see that there are so many changes happening constantly. Like recently, they reformatted the post size so that some people now have like not the square post, but the longer ones.
Yeah.
The same for videos. There used to be Instagram TV that I made use of a lot, but now
Yeah.
it's videos.
It's
So how do
real.
you stay on track with all these changes?
Oh, I just think as human beings, you've got to just have that mentality to evolve and go with it. But, you know, as a creator on Instagram, I follow a lot of other creators. I follow Instagram themselves. So I'm like always keeping up to date in terms of what's going on. But, you know, something that I take with a pinch of salt, and I think that it's probably good advice for you too, is that it's just because they say something is the way it is and everybody must do it doesn't always mean that it needs to be that way for you. Like I'm a big advocate in finding your own flow, finding what works for you. You know, like I don't believe in posting every single day. I don't believe in, you know, like I just want to find joy on the platform and make it somewhere that is sustainable. And that is the way that I really encourage my clients to use it too. So I'm in the know, but again, I'm just taking the bits and pieces that are really going to be sustainable in the long run and relevant in the long run.
Yes, absolutely. Great advice. That was actually one of my questions as well. How often do we need to post? Because a lot of business coaches tell you have to post every day, at least on your feed, 3 stories a day, and be active. Reply within, I think it's 3 or 4 hours to messages and comments so that everything is, well, it stays up in the feed as well. What kind of advice do you have for this, except from just following your own flow?
I would say that, so it's a really hard one. So here's what I would say. The more that you can post, if you can post a lot, then good for you, go for it. If that's what you can do and it feels good and you've got the time, like that's amazing. I think it depends on what kind of season of life you're in. And for me, the season of life that I am in is that I'm a mom, I am a yogi, I have got life things happening outside of this. And so for me, 3 times a week is even sometimes a stretch because, you know, as much as because yeah, like when you post, you know, it's not just about kind of putting up the post and then hoping for the best, but I also use Instagram as a relationship building tool. That is a way that I really get a lot of clients, and, you know, I've also helped my students that way. So it's not just the kind of thing where you post like a TikTok and then that thing just goes off and you get lots of views and it all happens. Instagram's a little bit more of like that kind of nurturing platform. So I think my best advice would be is that how much good content can you create? Because there is no point in creating 10 reels a week and posting twice a day if they are extremely average and like are doing nothing for you. I'm a big advocate of rather posting something that is quality, that is really supporting your follower, bringing them a little bit closer to working with you every step of the way, and really just making it, again, like sustainable for you. So unfortunately, there is no magic number, I think that there is no one way that works. I think that people that post every day, they see lots of success with it, and that's incredible. And I follow other people who post 3 times a week and have great success. So I think that it really depends on how you measure your success. If you're measuring your success in terms of views and followers, you're probably going to have different types of goals. Then, you know, you're going to maybe want to be posting every day. You're going to, you know, you're going for a different end result. But if you're focused on making sales, if you're really focused on using it to convert people from the app to your email list, to subscribe to your YouTube channel or podcast or whatever, then you need to really look at how you're using your content.
Amazing. This is such great advice, and I think it already clears up so many questions people have. I'm just going to quickly check in to see who is here with us. Oh, we've got a lot of people. Sermon is here, Magdalena, Laura. Good morning, everyone. Really nice to see you all. So Gabi is going to give us a little bit of a presentation and share with you how to optimize your Instagram. If you have questions about anything, write them in the chat so I can ask Gabi when we are in the interview still. And I think I'm just going to leave it up to you now and we can start.
All right, cool. So I will try to be, well, what I always say is that, like, people that work with me, they know that I have got 100 tabs open at all times. So this is how you know. All right, cool. So I'm just going to dive straight in with you guys. And this presentation is really, or this masterclass rather, is really to help you optimize your profile so that you can actually convert. And we'll talk about what conversion really means, but you can actually transform your visitors into followers, but not just random visitors. This is about attracting quality visitors that you can turn into potential students. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, one thing I'd just like to tell you off the bat, and this is, if you know me, if you've ever followed me, if you do any of my stuff, is that most masterclasses suck, but not this one, because regardless of whether you ever buy anything from me or whatever you do, I stuff as much value as I can inside. So whatever happens today, just know you will walk away with some fantastic Instagram skills and hacks. All right, cool. So it's roughly about 45 minutes. If you've got any questions at the end, Annie and me will chat to you. We'll give you we'll go have a Q&A at the end. And then I've got a little bonus for you at the end as well. So just a brief introduction about me. So in the last year, I have immigrated in the middle of the pandemic. My family and me, we moved from South Africa to Auckland, New Zealand. Since then, I've mastered an Instagram strategy that fuels my business. It grows my email list and my income every single month. And in a year, I've taught over 50 ambitious yoga and Pilates teachers to use Instagram to drive real results that sell out their programs, their memberships, and book out their one-to-one services. So before we move in on the training, I've got a couple of questions for you. So Annie can give me like some nods, yes or no, because I'm not following the chat. So you can type in a Y for yes or an N for no if any of this stuff resonates with you. So my first question is, and I know that this was a big yes for me, but do you have a dream to use Instagram with confidence to build a thriving yoga business? Right? Because I know that there's so many of us that just feel like we have to be on some kind of social media platform because we have to be on there. So if we can do that with confidence and we can be there, it really makes all the difference, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got nods. That's good. All right, so my next question is, do you crave being able to open the app knowing that your profile is connecting you to the right people? Okay, I don't know about you, but I am done with those messages from people asking me to be their sugar daddies and DM to collab and all those things. Like, we're not interested in that. We want quality visitors visiting our profile. We want to convert them into quality followers. Yeah. No, we don't want that stuff. Yes. No. Yeah. All right. So my goal for you guys today is that you walk away from this training knowing, understanding, and believing that you are capable of driving real results and becoming the go-to yoga teacher on Instagram. I think that so much of this is that we feel like, how are we going to stand out? How are we actually going to share our voice? Or how are we actually going to make some kind of impact in such a saturated space? And I'm going to show you. All right, so this is just a testimonial from one, she's not even a client of mine yet. This was just something that she got from me for free, but she wanted to let me know, and this was from a small strategy, that I had to email you and let you know that I have in the last hour added the Get Started Instagram highlight with the slides as prompted, and somebody's just asked me a question from the CTA slide. They've been following me for a while and they haven't tried a class yet. And they've just asked about one of my classes. I can't breathe, I'm freaking out, thank you. And this particular message really struck me because it was like, all you have to do is be you and show up. All you need to do, all we need is a little bit of guidance of how to do it the right way. And look at the magic when you're not even expecting it. So if you want, what I would say is grab your phone, unless you're on your phone now, but grab your phone and let's do a quick little IG bio audit, all of us together. So this is just going to give you a brief overview. Okay, so first things first is that we're going to look in the top left-hand corner. Okay, now I want you to have a look there and I want you to see, do you have a picture of your face or do you have a picture of a fancy yoga pose? Yes, okay. If you've got the fancy yoga pose, I'm calling you out because people connect with people. They want to see your beautiful face. So your smiley, happy face is going to do so well for you here. Also because your face is almost like your little mini business card. This is what people are going to see when they're watching your stories, when you're commenting on other people's profiles, right? So you need to think of this like a little mini business card. Then I want you to have a look at your name and your profession or your title. Okay, so your name, what is it? So it's really great to have your name there so that so it's easy for people to say, hey, Gabi, nice to meet you, or how can you help me? And then I want you to look at, do you have the words yoga teacher, or do you have keywords inside this name section over here? And the reason I'm saying that is because Instagram works on keyword rankings. So if somebody is searching for a yoga teacher in the Netherlands, there's a good chance that Annie would pop up, right? So if they're searching for Instagram marketing yoga in Auckland, I would pop up. So we want to make sure that we are giving ourselves the best opportunity of becoming found. Now, next over here, this is what I like to call, this is your first line of your bio, right? So this is your I help statement, or it is really your statement of who you serve and how you help them and what transformation you provide. Now, the problem is a lot of yoga teachers they've got like YTT 200 hours, dog mom, maybe you've got like, I don't know, proud mama, whatever it is that you've got going on. Like that stuff is cool and there is definitely a place for it. But if you are really serious about attracting quality followers, then we need to make them know then we need to let them know how you can help them. So while your bio is about you, it's really about the person on the other side. It's really about letting them know how you can help them. And I do have a little goodie for you that I will share with you later on to help you break down your I help statement. Now, okay, cool. Now, this is a line that a lot of people don't really think about, and it is such a crucial one where it says, I call it like your credibility line, where underneath your I help statement or how you serve the world, you have got your credibility. So what makes you a credible source of information? What makes you the person that is going to be able to help take somebody through this transformation that you're promising? So is it that you have been teaching yoga for 12 years? Have you been practicing yoga for 20 years? Have you got different types of yoga credentials behind you? Have you got a prenatal, YTT 200, YTT 300, whatever it is? The more credibility that you can add into that statement is really going to set you up as an authority, which is one of the things that we need to really stand out as a leader and as an expert. Okay. And then last but absolutely not least, so one thing I do want to say to you is this, is that while Instagram, we were talking about it being the cocktail party, we really want to remember that the cocktail party is one thing, but we really want to also be inviting people to a place where they can connect with us on a deeper level. For some of you, that may be your email list. For some of you, that may be subscribing to your YouTube channel. For some of you, that may be just going over to your website and booking a class off the bat, right? But we want to have something here in this link that is really going to take somebody a little bit further with us. And so that's what I would encourage you to do over there. Okay, cool. Then over here, this is something that a lot of teachers really neglect, and gosh, even myself guilty in the past, but your story highlights is prime digital real estate. Okay, we cannot have story highlights that are teeny tiny little dots from 216 weeks ago that show pictures of your yoga mat on the beach. That is not going to help you. That's not going to help people actually know how you can help them. So think about these little story highlight bubbles. Almost think about them as the tabs on your website, right? So you want to be able to show people you can start here. This is why I'm a credible person. This is how you can work with me. These are some of my testimonials. And you really want to be strategic with the space. And then last thing with Instagram is now, since they've introduced the pinning feature, is that you can strategically pin pieces of content to the top of your feed. So really think about basically content that showcases your expertise, but that also is entertaining. Like nobody wants to sit and watch a boring start here video, right? Like you want to, like we're at the cocktail party. So we've got to be treating this like the cocktail party. Okay, so stay with me here because I'm going to share more about why you want people to connect with your bio, because that's an important part of this overall strategy. Okay, so if you've got any rich coming from me to say close the tabs, but if you've got any distractions that's going on or anything, if you have got things going on in the background, just give yourself 30 more minutes to focus, because the stuff here is really going to help you go from like clueless to super confident on Instagram. Okay, so if you guys stay till the end, this is what I'm going to give you. It's a breakdown of the I help statement to help you nail down your niche and to really break down that statement that is your key statement to make sure that you're getting those quality followers on Instagram. All right, so when we're talking about your profile, and I'm using words like optimize, it's really just a fancy word, a marketing word, to say how can you make your profile the absolute best that it could possibly be, okay, to get more students from Instagram. So first things first, these are the 3 ways that we're going to do this. The first thing is that you do not need to only post about yoga. You need to focus on building a personal brand. Now, I know that that may seem weird because you are yoga teachers, so why can we not post about yoga? And we'll get into that, but building up a personal brand is what is going to separate you from all the other yoga teachers out there. The second thing we're going to look at is that yoga is not for everybody, and I hate to say it, but neither are you. So we are going to master your messaging, and we're going to cut through the noise of Instagram. And then lastly, we are going to talk about your grid, that it does not need to be perfect, that it needs to be purposeful, so that you can effortlessly turn your visitors into followers. Yes, the English, tongue-tied. Okay. All right, so mindset shift number 1 is that you need to have a personal brand. So I want you to take a step back from your Instagram now, and I want you to forget about teaching, like forget about all the Instagram hacks and the pose tutorials and the 15-second flows and touching your legs to your head and whatever. Forget about teaching and let's talk about serving, because this is going to change everything for you and your relationship with your audience. Okay, so take a moment here, and if you can, comment in the chat. Do you wonder why someone would choose you as a yoga teacher over somebody else with more followers and more experience? Okay. I know for me, that was a big concern of mine, is that, well, why would somebody choose me when I've only got like X amount of followers, or I don't have, right? I don't have, like, I'm not flexible enough, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, like all the things, the worst things that we think about ourselves. Yeah. All right, cool. So the truth is this, is that people are going to choose you for you. That is it. Being you is the most powerful thing that you could ever embrace. And I know that it sounds cheesy, and I know that it's like, oh my gosh, but how do I even do this? So here is what I'm going to share with you, is that the thing that I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to approach Instagram thinking that teaching on Instagram is what's going to make you look like an expert, because that is not it, right? Teaching on Instagram is a small part of the puzzle. Okay. So we have to focus on using Instagram, not just to build our yoga business, but we've got to focus on Instagram to create a connection through building a personal brand. So remember, we're at the cocktail party, and this is social media, okay? We need to be social on the social platform. That is how this all works together. And for somebody to really want to work with you, or for somebody to actually hit follow, there needs to be some kind of connection, okay? So let's just clarify what the definition between a business and a brand is, because when you're focusing only on teaching, you are focusing on building the business, right? So the business is a person's regular occupation, profession, or trade. This is your service. This is your membership. This is your program. This is your teaching one-to-one classes, right? Wherever you are. And so too many yoga teachers are focused on selling. DM me to come to my class, or new class, or here's my schedule, or whatever. Like, no. Okay, that's just like, no. People see through advertising like that, like, and switch off. But a brand is the recognizable personality behind what you're selling. Okay, and now, I don't know, okay, I don't actually know the age group of what we're working with, okay, but I know that everybody's kind of got to know who George Clooney is, right? You got to know who George Clooney is, yes? All right, so, yeah. Okay, so now I don't know if anybody remembers the Nespresso ads with George Clooney, and he was like in all these beautiful places in like Monaco and Italy, and there he is sipping these Nespressos with these beautiful ladies and stuff. The reason brands do that is, and the reasons that a brand pairs their product with a celebrity is because the celebrity comes with a personality that people deem to be credible, that people trust already. And immediately they take that personality and they give that same credibility, that trust, all of those things to that product, right? So I will forever associate George with Nespresso, okay? But what also happened with that is that we've got an espresso machine, and now we have Nespresso, and when we're sipping it, we think that we're in Italy, really, when we're sitting in our kitchen in the middle of Auckland, okay? But that is the power of branding. That is the power. And on Instagram, yes, you need to have business building content, but brand building is as important. Okay, so let's just talk about what the purpose of a brand is. So if you're not clear, and I know that there are a lot of people that have no clue about marketing. So a brand is going to show more than what you do or what you sell. A brand helps you to create real connections. So something that I want to drive into you today is that people connect with people, and people like people who are like us. Okay, so the more similar we are, the more traits that we're sharing, likability traits, and whether it be these really vulnerable moments or these moments of pride where you are achieving these amazing things, people are actually rooting for you on the other end of the story. The next thing about having a brand is that it's multifaceted, which means, and this is the best part, is that you don't only have to talk about one thing. You don't actually only have to talk about standing bow and eagle all day long and give them 100 different tutorials on how to flip their arms around, right? Like, it gives you freedom and creativity to explore your content, to be a little bit more you and be a little bit more human. And a personal brand gives you the chance to connect with people, most importantly, who may not be ready to practice yoga yet. Okay. So by really showing up and creating different types of content that are not always related to yoga will capture that person's attention, bring them along for the journey. And when they are ready, then they know to come to you. All right. So here's what personal branding looks like on Instagram. Okay, so on Instagram, everybody talks about being authentic, okay? But it's being authentic in the way that you portray yourself so that you are more human and relatable. So moving away from too many filters, right? Moving away from too much overproduced content, moving away from all these perfect poses or these incredible photos that are like on the beach and this and that. Like, people want real. People want stuff where you are practicing yoga on the floor of your kitchen because that is the only place that you have space. All right. People appreciate authenticity. Then it is about serving your audience and serve your audience and build and nurture a community so that when you do sell to them, you earn the right. All right. So building a personal brand is going to help you serve your audience with valuable content that they actually care about beyond what yoga is. And then lastly, you can connect to your community through more aspects than yoga, which we touched on. So for example, you'll see if you have a look on my page, the Content Yogi, if you go have a look on my Instagram page, a lot of my stuff is Instagram tips, but a lot of it is also my personal journey. It's my story. It is yoga. These are things that are just really prevalent in my life. And these are things that you can share too. Alrighty, so here's the truth is that people are going to be more likely to care about your yoga service. Okay, so whatever it is that you're offering, if they care about you first. This is a really big one, okay? Because that is the difference between them coming to you and going to Alo Yoga, right? Or signing up for one of those other things. Okay, so here's how you're going to do it. You're going to get clear on what sets you apart from the others in the yoga industry, and you're going to lead with that. So you're going to find your little space in the whole industry. And if you're thinking, oh my God, what is that? We'll figure it out. But it is important that you find something that you feel good and confident in and strong at, but also something that you're really passionate about, something that you love. Then it's also about focusing on sharing content that tells stories, shares your personality, and even like polarizing opinions. Just because you're a yoga teacher doesn't mean that you have to be yes and go hug trees and live by the 8 limbs of yoga every single day of your life, and you have to be a vegan and like, no, right? Like, you're allowed to have your own opinion and people appreciate that. And then lastly, to lead with passion and share things that you're passionate about. Like, the one thing that I see is that all these yoga teachers are just sharing what they think the algorithm wants to see and what they think a yogi should look like. Like, no, right? Like, if you want to swear, swear. If you want to, like, just be you. Okay, so let's break it down. Okay, so this is something that I call the KLT profile, okay? And the KLT profile is a means of creating and sharing purposeful video content that builds your yoga brand and your business through true connection and authority. All right, so open your Instagram on your phone, and I want you to have a look, just have a quick scroll there. What's coming up on your feed the most? Even when you go over to your profile, like, you click on a story bubble, it's a video. You click on somebody's highlights, it's videos. You scroll through the feed and it is reels. Video is everywhere, and video increases your brand engagement because it's easier to capture somebody's attention. And by making it easy for them to engage with your message, you are going to elevate your brand from other people. Okay, it is the quickest. Using video, using story highlights, using reels, using Instagram stories is the quickest way to build up that connection and really step yourself out of the box. Okay, so let's just talk about what this KLT profile means, okay? It stands for, and this isn't something that I've invented, by the way. This is like timeless marketing stuff. I just gave it a cool name. So the KLT profile. So the first thing is the know factor. And this know is really when somebody comes to your profile, they need to know that they're in the right place. They need to know, okay, well, this woman can help me. This person knows what she's talking about. I can see that she can help me. The next thing is that they have to like you. And I'm not saying that they have to fall in love with you right off the bat, but if they don't like your vibe, if they cannot feel like connected to you or relate to you in some way or form, they're not gonna stick around. Okay, there's nothing for them there. And the last thing is trust, okay? Because on your profile, while we need to be working on building up our brand, our personal brand, which a lot of it is focusing in this little area over there, we need to be building ourselves up as an authority and as a credible person, as an expert, right? So that is really where our story highlights are key with having client testimonials. That is where our video content is really important, where we are sharing testimonials, where we're sharing our opinions, our polarizing opinions that are going to set us up as an authority. So I want you to think of your Instagram profile like a shop front, okay? I want you to think about it if it was like a window shop, right? Like for me, if I walk past a toy shop, you can be guaranteed that I'm not going in there unless there is a good reason, okay? I've got no need for toys. But my son, who is obsessed with sharks, if I see a shark puzzle or a shark fluffy toy or something that I know he's going to go crazy for, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to go inside and go buy that freaking shark toy, okay? So I want you to think about what would a visitor on your profile need to see, watch, or read to come inside your shop, okay? And you can do this. You do this all through your profile with the content that you're putting on there, the way that your bio is structured, and the strategic things that you've got in place. So to create a KLT profile, right? The goal of this KLT method is that you build up your likability and your credibility with your visitors so that you can turn them into followers and that they join your offers, your services, whatever it is that you have when they're ready. Okay, so let's just go into how it works. So the K, like I said, it's about optimizing your profile picture, your bio description, so that this person knows they're in the right place. The next thing is the like factor, right? So we want content here that is going to build your brand and your likability quickly. This is video content, so that your visitors feel connected to you. And you do this through your stories, your story highlights, and the pinned pieces of content that you have. And then lastly, the T, which is the trust. So this is your content that I call expert content, but this is your content that establishes you as an expert and authority quickly so that your visitors know that you can get them the results that you're promising. All right, so you can see it in action over here. And really, these are the things that we need to know, that they need to know in order to hit follow, right? So choosing who we serve and how we serve them, which we'll get into in a little bit, using video to increase engagement and build trust. Choose 5 story highlights that are going to establish credibility and connection, and pin 2 to 3 pieces of content that are going to speak to your expertise. So just a little side note, just because they say that you have, like you can pin 3 pieces of content, like you can just pin content that is going to drive a real result in your business. Don't just pin for the sake of pinning. All right, so KLT is going to help you establish connection. It's going to set you up as an expert and an authority. But most importantly, it's going to help you repel followers who would never buy from you and who don't want to work with you. Okay, remember the sugar daddies? Goodbye. We don't want them. All right, so I did this with my client Cynthia the other day, and she was so excited. I've got 6 new followers overnight. Thank you for helping me hone that bio and reflect what I do. Your bio is such a key part of your overall strategy. And if it is vague, if it is vanilla, you are not going to be using Instagram, or not, should I say, Instagram is going to be a much harder place for you to actually make it work. All right, so here's what that follower journey looks like, okay? So this is like the life cycle of a follower on Instagram, right? So just say we speak about those keywords that people type in. Just say they're typing in yoga or marketing, Instagram, whatever. Then what they're going to do is they're going to head over, they'll come to your profile and they'll scroll your content, okay? So if you've got video content in here, like we talk about in the KLT method, then you're good for gold because they will get a mix and they will get a feel, right? If you've got your expert content, if you've got your brand content, they will think, okay, cool, I like this person and they know what they're doing. Then they will head over to your profile, to your bio to learn more about you. So really to see that you are credible, that you can deliver. And lastly, once they've gone through that process, they will hit follow, okay? So while they are qualifying you really to see whether you're another person they should follow, this process also helps you get rid of the people who you really don't want. So a lot of you may be thinking at this point, it's like, okay, well, this is really good, Gabi, thank you very much, but nobody's coming to my profile. Like, I have a problem. Nobody's even coming in the first place. So if you are struggling with visibility and you're not getting new people to your feed, I've got a great hack that I'm going to share with you. And this hack is to turn on your post notifications. So while I'm all about having boundaries around Instagram, one thing I have found to be incredibly effective is to turn on post notifications of accounts that you love and who have similar followers to the followers you have or the followers that you want to serve, right? And turn on post notifications for those accounts. And so whenever you get a post notification, you can go comment on that post, and then the chances are is that their followers will see you commenting and go check out your profile as well. So it's a nifty little hack for you to use. All right, so the next thing is this, is that if your next problem is that you're attracting random followers, it means that you're not being specific enough, okay? So mindset number 2, we need to master our messaging, okay? We need to use Instagram as a tool to attract your dream students. Now, this is what I want to ask you, okay? Very important. Right now, what is your current dream student visitor to follower conversion rate? And when I talk about a conversion rate, I want you to think of it as conversion. I'm turning a visitor into a follower. I'm turning this person, they are hopping onto my email list. This person is checking out my website. This person is even consuming my content. Like right now, as we speak, can you confidently say that your profile is doing this? All right, so tell me how you're using your profile as a tool to attract your dream students who want what you have to offer. Think about how is your profile growing other aspects of your yoga business? Have you got it linked to your email list? Have you got it linked to a clarity call? Have you got it linked to another blog platform or YouTube platform? And then the last question, which is really important, is what is the desired experience for taking an Instagram follower to someone who double taps and comments to someone who becomes a raving fan of yours? Have you thought about those kind of processes? And if you're answering no, that's really common because not a lot of people would even think about this, right? So I don't want you to do this. Too many yoga teachers focus on serving everyone because they think that they will be more successful on the app and they feel bad saying no, okay? They feel bad rejecting people. They feel bad not being able to whatever, right? We want to serve everybody because that's in us and that is just what we do. But unfortunately, this could not be further from the truth, all right? So for a niche account is what cuts through the noise, all right? And I'm not sure if you've heard about niching, if you're sick of hearing about niching. I'm not sure which camp you're on. I'm personally sick about niching also in general, but in terms of Instagram, this is how I want you to think about it, regardless of whether you believe in niching down or not, is that Instagram uses keywords to share your content. So when you use general keywords like yoga, with hundreds of millions of people fighting for the same word, you get lost in the crowd. But when you get specific, you cut through the noise and you reach more of the same people who need what you have. When you do this, you are actually working with the algorithm. The algorithm is actually going to help push out your content to more of those people. When you don't do this, your content is going to get lost in the big black scroll hole, okay, which is Instagram, which does happen. And it actually makes your content so much harder to create. So I need you to think about it like this. When you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to no one. Okay, that's just how it is. So when we go back to that KLT profile and we think about our profile being that business branding and the business building and your brand building content on your page, if your content on your page is vanilla and you are giving really surface level content tips, and if you are just sharing poses of you on the edge of a beautiful cliff somewhere balancing on your tippy toes, like, nobody cares. It's vanilla, it's boring, it gets lost. People, the more specific you get, I cannot stress it enough, the more specific you get, the more you connect. So when you have a niched Instagram, this is what the experience looks like, is that your profile is attracting the right people and repelling the wrong ones. Your bio positions you as an authority and an expert quickly. And now your video content is going to connect with them on an emotional level. All right. And an emotional level, if you think back right to the beginning with Instagram, social media, the cocktail party, you need to do this. All right. So something that you may not know about me is that a lot of other coaches out there, a lot of Instagram coaches out there, they're just going to tell you to focus on getting more followers. Okay. They're going to follow you, tell you to focus on going viral, get views, all the things. But for this to work for you, to get students, the power lies in knowing how to attract the right visitors so that they become your followers who you can sell to. That is the trick, because there is no point in having, I mean, I have actually got 2 clients that have got 150,000 followers and they have no idea how to sell to them. They have no idea what to say. They have no cooking clue what they're doing. And this is the difference between being crystal clear on who you serve and how you serve them, just as opposed to focusing on vanity metrics like views and follows. All right, so how does this shift things? Okay, so when you niche down, you're focusing on quality, not quantity. Content is much easier to create, but more importantly, it's going to resonate with the right people. And you can approach Instagram with serving so well that you never feel salesy when the time comes. This is most important, because when your content is easy to create, you can serve your audience, you can have fun with it. And when the time comes to sell, they are warm, hot, and ready, and they want what you have. So if people look at my Instagram only in terms of the number of followers I have, they would say, Gabi, your niche is way too narrow. You need to open it up. You need to open it up and just start helping more people. Okay. But what my niche is doing is that it magnetizes my dream students to me. And I don't want to work with people. I don't want to work with anybody else, right? Like, I am specific about who I work with, and so should you be. There is no reason why we have to settle for the type of people that we work with. Okay, so having this KLT profile, you're going to be able to easily convert visitors into followers, but these followers are going to be quality followers who are more likely to become your students. So we mentioned conversion earlier. So this is what a conversion looks like on Instagram, is that when somebody checks out your website or your blog, when somebody subscribes to another platform, or they join your email list, they fill out a contact form, they check out your services, they visit your class schedule, they join a wait list, they book a class, join your membership, or they sign up for your program. Okay, this is what conversion means. So just because somebody follows you right away and you don't get a DM saying, how can I work with you, doesn't mean that you failed, right? There are many ways to convert. And then the last point that we're going to touch on today is that it's okay not to be perfect. Okay, and I think that this is such a big one, because I'm a recovering perfectionist. I know, you let me know in the chat if you're a recovering perfectionist, if you are a perfectionist, but yeah, this is hard. This is a hard one, because what I'm telling you now to do is that we've got to move away from perfection. We've got to move away from what we think people want to see and hiding behind this guise, right? And we actually have to focus on creating a vibe that makes people want to stay. So I want you to think about it like when you invite somebody over to your house, right? And you can invite them to your house, And they can come, and I'm not sure if you've ever been to those houses where they're like museums and you're not allowed to sit on anything. You're not really allowed to touch anything. And if you do touch something, you've got to use the coasters, and it's like a big story, right? Like you can't do it. Or you can come into a house and they welcome you in. They give you a glass of wine or they give you a cup of tea, whatever you want. And they welcome, and they're like, oh, everybody, there's music playing, the TV's on, dogs are barking, but everybody's happy. You feel comfortable, you feel relaxed, you want to stick around, okay? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you are stuck in this perfection mindset about sitting on Canva all day long, making things look perfect, you're actually missing out on a lot of fun, but you're missing out on creating more connections. So don't do this, okay? A lot of yoga teachers spend time worrying about the perfect grid, and they spend too many hours creating designs in Canva. And I can assure you of this, is that your dream students are not staying up late at night scrolling Instagram to find a yoga teacher with the perfect grid, okay? They're scrolling Instagram to find a yoga teacher who can actually help them with their problems. So what I am going to say to you is that perfection doesn't win, but a visual brand wins, right? A visual brand identity is all about how your yoga business looks and feels on Instagram. A strong visual identity is going to help you strengthen your brand message, make you look more professional, and even convert visitors to your profile into lifelong followers, okay? So a visual brand is not the perfection, but a visual brand is a memorable brand. So this is what's going to really help you stick out. So when we're looking at visual branding on Instagram, subconsciously it's doing this. It influences how much time you spend on the profile. When profiles, right, have got cover photos that are labeled clearly, okay? Or when profiles look, and I'm not saying that they need to look perfect by any means, but when they're clear, when there's color, whatever the story is, it holds your attention. Next thing is that it evokes emotion, right? So 90% of snap judgments are influenced by psychological effects of color alone. If you've just got random stuff and you've got no color, you've got no like real anything behind you, it doesn't actually really speak to your credibility or your professionalism that much. It just makes you look a bit more amateurish. But the power of color, and we're not going to go into color psychology, but like it evokes emotion in people. And certain colors evoke even more, they evoke trust, right? They evoke all these different things. So it's really important to think about who is your dream student on the other end, right? If I was if I'm trying to attract women and I want them, and I do yin yoga, I've got women and I want them to feel calm and nurtured, and I do this to help them balance out their hormones, I'm going to opt for colors that are maybe subtle hues of pink, yellow, like cheerfulness, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go for like reds and blacks that are like hardcore, right? It sends a different message. Then the last thing is that it creates connection. So just by showing your face, oh my gosh, just show your face, or strategically use video content to deepen that connection. There are so many profiles where I still see logos in the profile picture and I see all the cover photos, but I don't see your face. People connect with people. Okay, so let's just talk about how this shifts things. So the perfect grid isn't as important as your brand messaging, okay? Your brand messaging is very different. Your brand messaging is your values, it's your mission, it's your story. But the clarity on who you're talking to is going to influence whether they follow you or not. Then you've got to take time to ensure that you've got a mix of video content on your profile that speaks to your overall brand promise, using stories, story highlights, and reels. Your brand promise is the transformation that you provide, right? So the transformation is that you help women balance their hormones, or is that you help, whatever, you help women fall pregnant. I don't know. I've got a client that's going through this. That's why those are all my examples now. So showing your face is not negotiable on a visual platform. So this is a heads up, and I think that it goes for Facebook, it goes for TikTok. Like, you need to show your face. That is it. Like, it's actually, sorry, not negotiable. All right, so now I want you to go and audit your profile and ask yourself, is this profile clear in terms of who I serve and how I serve them? Does my profile branding appeal to my dream students? So while I might love black and red, hardcore colors, is this going to appeal to my dream student, right? Who is a lot softer and needs some gentle nurturing yoga? Probably not. Do I have video content on there that supports my brand promise? Do I have expert content that is testimonials that's going to set me up as an authority? Do I have content on there that connects me to people, that shares my story, that makes me relatable, that makes me a human being? What kind of content? Have you only got educational content that's going to look like a textbook? All right, so can you see how a personal brand plus a niche plus a visual brand is going to transform visitors into followers? And I should have the word here, quality followers, right? Like this is what it's about. So I don't know. Okay, that was a lot of content. I know that was a lot of information. So it brings me right to the end. So I just want to check in and see how everybody's feeling, because I know that was quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Are there questions, Annie? There might be. Hey.
First of all, this is amazing, incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. There are questions, but I wanna thank you again. This is really, really incredible. So everyone in the chat, let us know how you are feeling, and I'm gonna read out the questions for you. First thing I see here, can you explain more of how to turn on notifications of people that we follow?
Yes, definitely. So what you're going to do is I'll do it with you. What you're going to do is you're going to search, or you'll go find an account that resonates with you or who your dream students are following, somebody that's maybe in a similar niche to you or something like that. And then from that, what you'll do is you'll head over to their profile, and you're going to click on, let me see, I'm in my own profile here, but if I go to, right, so what you're going to do is over here, and I'm just going to show you because it's a lot easier. When you go to somebody's profile, you'll see that there's a little alarm bell in the top corner there. Can you see that? When you click on that little bell, it'll bring up this, right? I don't know if you can see those post notifications. And then you can decide, do you want post notifications, story notifications, whatever notifications you want. And that's how you can turn them on.
Fantastic. And I agree with you. It's really, really helpful. Then I do had a question, and I think what you mean, if we live in a non-English speaking country, but write the bio in English, does it still appear to people nearby? I think what she means is that if I live in the Netherlands, for example, and my bio is in English, people will still be able to find me outside my country?
Yes, as long as you're using, I would say, as long as you're using your country as a key, like as a keyword in there. So if you're using the word Netherlands, like IT, or whichever country, I guess. Are you speaking about in terms of getting people who speak the same kind of language, or is it more about getting like location-based people to come and practice with you? I don't know.
I'm not sure on the question either, but what I think she means is, will I be able to attract people onto my profile that don't actually live in the same country? Because, for example, if I look at Enga Unite, we want to attract people that are all around the world. So my location doesn't really matter. Yeah. Because my services are online. And I think that it really depends on where you offer your services, right? And if it's necessary for that. But people will be able to find you either way. I think it has to do more with the keywords rather than the location in this case.
Totally. Yeah. If it's location based, then make sure that you've got the location of where it is that you're teaching. And if it's not located, like if it's online or remote, then obviously that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Then Manouk is asking, we've already spoken a bit about this at the start, but just a quick summary or review. What's your opinion on how frequently we should post stories, reels, and videos, etc.?
Honestly speaking, so yeah, we did touch on it in the beginning. So honestly speaking, I think that you have to ask yourself the question is, how much good content can I create? So and when I say good content, I'm not speaking about poorly put together lip syncing reels. Like, how much good content could you really create? And how often could you post? So I mean, I know really successful creators that post every single day, and they do that. But here's the thing, right, is that a lot of people have this misconception, because these people are creators for a living. This is what they do. Okay, they are social media experts, they are content creators, influencers that are getting paid. They are not just your average yoga teacher who doesn't really understand content. So my thinking is this, is start with something that you can be sustainable with. And I would honestly say, like, for me personally, like I said, 3 times a week is like a lot. That's like a really good start, I would say, for your content. But it really depends on you and what's sustainable to you. And in terms of your stories, like, stories is really fun, because stories is more of a documenting as you go. It's more of a place for you to say, like, oh, I've just taught so-and-so a class, and today we did X, Y, and Z, and it was such an incredible experience. And you bringing your people along for the ride, but strategically. So you're showing them, and that stuff's easy. That stuff you don't have to spend hours and hours doing, right? So stories, I would say, hop on, because that's like your own personal reality TV show. Do that as much as you can, in a way, like, whatever. But honestly, the answer will always be like, what can you do consistently? So it's better to post twice a week consistently, as opposed to Monday to Sunday, and it's random, and sometimes you can't, and then you burn yourself out, and then you become this anxious wreck.
Absolutely. Great. For those that joined in later, I do recommend starting again from the beginning to not miss out on anything else that Gabi has shared with us today. There's one last question, and if anyone else has questions, put them in the chat as well. Is having a blog a good way to help your audience connect with you on a deeper level? Now, a blog is good for so many different reasons, and I think it's to help people connect with you on a deeper level. But in terms of marketing, for SEO purposes as well, right? To show up on Google very high in the rankings. And also for people to sign up to any type of freebie or free thing that you're offering, to get them on your email list. What do you think of sharing blogs on Instagram?
I think it's so good. Honestly, like, the more that you have outside of Instagram, so a blog, a YouTube channel, a podcast, it just immediately gives you that upper edge. It makes you look like that much more of an expert, because you've got a blog. It's almost like this, just like this little whatever, this thing of credibility. So, and if it's a blog that adds value, right? So that's something that you really need to think about. Like, is your blog truly adding value, or is your blog just like a textbook of the 8 limbs and how to do like whatever, and it's yawn and it's boring and it's vanilla? So make sure that you are making it about them, and it's adding true value.
Exactly. Ajaya says, should we follow someone we like with our personal account or with our business account? And I think as well, what is the difference between your personal and your business account? How business is your business account?
Yes. So it's such a good question. So here's what I will say to you is this, right? Is that 2 things here. So the algorithm is going to constantly be curating content that it thinks that you want to see. So if you are speaking to your friends and you're only sharing inspirational quotes, and you are like sharing pictures of your dog at the beach and whatever, like, that stuff's really nice, but ask yourself, is any of that really working towards the bigger picture of helping you get more clients, helping you sell out your programs, etc. on Instagram? If it is, fantastic. But if it's not, then that doesn't really have a place on your business profile. So the type of content that you're going to see, and I'll put it to you like this, right? So my personal account, it is dogs, friends, family. I see pictures of my friends, kids and stuff. I see reels of people's holidays. Like, it's really different. On my business account, I see yoga, I see marketing. It is really specific. And the reason being is that I am working with the algorithm. So the algorithm is curating content that it thinks that I want to see. But more importantly than that, it is curating, it is pushing out my content to people that I want to see, right? Or that I want them to see my content. Does that make sense? So either way, like I would really encourage you, if you want to merge your business and your personal, whatever it is, like you just need to make sure that the content that you are working with is related to your niche and it relates to your dream students. So you're actually working with the algorithm to like push your content out to more people.
Yeah, fantastic. I think this will bring so much clarity. Now, Ideal says, with video editing tools, static images can be turned into videos. Would you recommend doing that? Because she thinks it can be a little bit misleading that people expect a video and then it's just a text image or an image of any kind.
Yeah, I've noticed it seems to be like a little bit of a trend at the moment.
Yeah.
You know what the truth is that like I think now, because Reels is just the way that people are consuming the content, like if you want your content to be seen, I would do that truly, because it just, unfortunately, the way that things are now, it's not that it's not pushing out static posts, but you've got a better chance, I guess, of your content being seen if you do it that way. But I will say this to you, is that if it doesn't feel good to you, if something ever doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Like just rather don't. But if you really want to give yourself a better shot, then do it, and make the video shorter. Do it for like 5 seconds so it loops a couple of times, then at least you can get more views.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say the same? Because I see this a lot with like business coaches or teachers that they have like a tweet of any kind. So it's a bit of text or maybe a testimonial, some text in there. I've seen that many times. But is it also the same for images, just like plain pictures?
Yes. Yeah. And so like, you know what? I mean, it's the same thing. Like if you compare it, I guess, to like a yoga class, like a yoga class and stuff. Like there are so many ways for you to move into camel. There are so many ways for you to move into a specific pose, right? But you just have to figure it out and play around. Like you can't do anything wrong in your content, like unless you severely violate Instagram's terms. Like you cannot do a lot of stuff that's wrong. So I would say, like, look at your insights. That's always a great place to start. Look at your insights and see what your audience is liking. See what has gotten you a lot of reach in the past. See what's gotten you a lot of engagement in the past. And if that kind of stuff, if it was a static post, then do that and slap it on a video or slap it on a picture and just try, like, have fun with it.
Absolutely. Amazing. Anyone, do you have more questions? Put them in the chat. I had one question, but I think I've forgotten, or maybe you answered in the meantime. Right, yes, I saw your, can you show us what Instagram looks like for you? And I'll show you what Instagram looks like for me, because it's different in terms of what we have available. If you look here, I only have 3 options.
3 options. Oh yes, yeah.
Video and things that I'm tagged in. But I saw you've got like a
with me that mine's got 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this it's something I don't really use. So this at the top over here, these are Instagram guides. Right. So a guide, it's not saying that I do, but it's like when you take like old posts of yours, and then you can actually, if they're the same kind of theme, then you can just create a little guide. So they are quite helpful, but I mean, in truth, I haven't updated mine in forever.
But it's something that you create yourself. It's not done by Instagram. Right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you just I must be honest with you, I actually don't. I think it's one of those Instagram things that like came out and then people were like, oh, let's use it or let's not. One of those random things that are just not ever gonna help you. So I don't know, it depends. Like if you've got a lot of good content and you want it all in one place, or I guess it would be helpful if you've got like maybe a sequence of like mini flows or something like that you want to put together, and then creating guides could be helpful.
Yeah, very nice. Something to think about.
Yeah, there's something to think about.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
All
Yes.
right, I don't see any other questions coming in. For those that are watching the replay and you have questions, always feel free to reach out. Gabi, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Yes, yes, yes. So with you guys, Annie will drop in the link, but I have got for you my story. Where are they? I had a little slide for it even. I don't know. All right, sorry, this thing's sleeping. So I've actually, like I said, I'm a copywriter by trade. So one of the things that I do with a lot of my clients is that I provide scripts for stories, for the DMs, for educational reels, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to give to you guys is my story highlight script. So it is the 5 story highlight scripts that every single yoga teacher needs. And it is not just telling you what the scripts are, but it's not just telling you what the highlights are, but it's actually scripted out for you. So all you have to do is just put your phone, hit record, say the words, and then save it to your highlights. And so, yes, so I hope that that'll help you make your profile a super attractive, magnetic profile for your dream students. And yeah, and if you have any questions or anything like that, please reach out, follow at the Content Yogi on Instagram, share heaps more of this stuff in my stories mostly, but also in my feed. So I really just, yeah, I would love to see you guys.
Yeah, amazing. I've put it in the chats for everyone. Well, it's not the chat. I'm so used to using Zoom. It's in the comments of the video. I received one more question for you about hashtags, and I think this is how many should we be cramming into the post, or should we just choose specific ones?
Yeah, honestly, so like this is a thing. You know, take it with a pinch of salt. That's like my answer for a lot of the stuff. But like honestly, they say use between 3 and 30 hashtags. I know people who use no hashtags who have great success. I know people who use 3 to 5 hashtags who have great success. And I know people who use 30 hashtags religiously who have great success. So my advice to you is that no matter what number you decide, make sure these 2 things, that your hashtags, because remember, Instagram is favoring or using keywords. Yeah. So make sure that your hashtag keywords relate to your post and they relate to who your dream student or your ideal client is. So for example, if you are speaking to like stressed, burnt out mothers, right, you are going to make sure that your post is going to, or sorry, your hashtags rather, are going to relate to stress, burnout, moms, whatever. Like these are things that you want to be including. You don't just want to put in, and I see so many random ones like yogis of Instagram, yoga reels, this and that. Like don't just put in hashtags for the sake of it. And just a little note on hashtags is like the higher the hashtag, like 1 million or 500,000, you've actually got less chance of being discovered on that hashtag. So hashtags with smaller numbers are actually better for you. So that's just a side note.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So I see that, Sarah, if you have questions and you're not able to write them in English, write them, I think your language is Italian, right? Write them in Italian if you want to, and then we can check them out later. I can help you ask your questions to Gabi afterwards, all right? Feel free to send me a message if you want to. All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. It was so much fun and just like so awesome connecting. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a massive pleasure. And I think it's so useful. So useful. I'm really grateful. So we're going to stop the video here. I'm going to be back here in about 3 hours, a little bit less, at 2 p.m. Central European time. So check your emails for the time converter if you don't know what time that is for you. And we're going to speak about goal planning to manifest your ideal yoga teaching career. So that's going to be in about 3 hours. All right, I'll see you all later today. have a great break. And good luck as well with your challenges. Don't forget to write down your affirmations and write them in the chat. I keep saying it. Write them in the Facebook group, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
And